The Hema committee report exposed the fact that the Malayalam film industry is under the stranglehold of a group of powerful men who call the shots and can bend the rules to exploit women. As the report sent shockwaves among the film fraternity, the Women in Cinema Collective (WCC), an advocacy group that fought relentlessly for the report's release, has now met with Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. The WCC representatives expressed their concerns over the privacy and security of the women who had bravely deposed before the committee. The Kerala High Court has asked the government to release the redacted portions of the report to the SIT that is currently investigating the complaints raised by the women in the film industry. The Federal spoke to National Award winning actor Padma Priya to get deeper insights into the challenges facing the industry post the release of the Hema committee report and to throw light on one of the common perceptions that casting couch culture is a way to make it big in the film industry.
Women who are coming into the industry believe the casting couch is the only way to get into the industry. So this was one of the issues that people are
Yeah,
constantly bringing up, right? So what do you feel about that? How do you demolish that myth or that view?
it's not just Malayalam cinema. Casting couch is an issue. And when I say casting couch, I know immediately people think of actors. But let's say the couch is used from people across the board, which is very clear from the HEMA committee report, right? And which is why I say that when you become vulnerable, so people like there is a huge proportion of daily wage workers in cinema, for instance, like extras, junior artists,
Yes.
and that cuts across genders, light persons. These people are dependent on earning this money so that they can survive. They're not just doing it for the craft and the art of it, it's also the business of it for them. So, for a lot of these people, there is a natural, and it's not like everybody has access to the producer
Mm.
because it's so much chaos on a set. So there is like a junior artist manager. So you're then like basically tied to getting a job based on what the junior artist manager or coordinator says to you. And what does the producer do? They just sublet and subcontract that job to them, because they clearly cannot be like selecting every, like suppose there are 200 people on a particular frame. They cannot be like really selecting all the 200 people. There'll be a broad mandate given by a filmmaker saying these are the kind of people, this is how they should look, blah blah blah. And I'm just giving the example of junior artists, right? Or like say dancers, singers. Like there are lots of like different spaces where people are coming from, and because it's like an unorganized space where people are coming in and going out, that there is this potential for exploitation of daily wage workers. Now, there is also it's also a space of extreme intimacy. So if you look at, like, for instance, a director and a assistant director's relationship, it starts from like pre-production when the story starts to the time when they start looking for locations. And then when the actors come in, the actor workshops happen, and then you go on set shooting.
Yeah.
It's a crazy life. And you have to be like intimately involved in the creation of it.
Yes.
So there is a natural hierarchy and power that the director exercises on an AD, because your relationship on this with this person literally determines what you're going to get as your next film.
Mm.
And so what happens is the more we are making our our recommendations, we're realizing that these are issues which cut across genders. Even whatever solutions that we are recommending, and if whatever comes out in fruition, is not just going to benefit women, it's going to benefit everybody, because power hierarchy affects everybody, but it affects disproportionately far more women, because of the fact that there is this, apart from money and apart from the abuse which happens verbally, there is this potential for sexual exploitation. And that
Mm.
completely ruins the fabric of our existence.
Yes.
So the casting couch is not something which is restricted to actors. It goes beyond
Yes.
across trades, which is very evident from the JHC report.
Recently, the WCC proposed a comprehensive code of conduct to tackle sexual harassment in the industry head on. Some key proposals include a zero tolerance policy against sexual harassment and discrimination based on gender, class, caste, religion, or any other factor, a strict prohibition on working under the influence of intoxicants,
So how do you handle this casting couch issue then?
I don't think we should look at it as a casting couch issue. I think the
Okay.
industry needs to streamline and professionalize as a workspace as a
Yes.
whole. Right now, for instance, there are absolutely no contracts or release forms in place. Right now, for instance, there's no clear definition and mandate on who, like, for instance, one of the major human right violations was people not getting the same kind of food, asking them to get food, standing under the sun for 18 hours, not being told to go back if they have no work. I
Oh,
think that there is, because there is no understanding of what's a call sheet. The call sheet is not a call sheet, is basically a document which is which basically tells you what's going to happen in a shoot on that day.
yes.
So typically, if you look if you look at productions outside India, I'm not just talking about America and stuff. Call sheets are shared with everyone. So people and the logistics are organized as per that. And this is only better for the creative process, right? Because you're going to save on
Yes.
cost. You're going to like. So I mean, professionalizing a workspace is not only going to reduce power hierarchy. So the minute the information is available, nobody can feel like their dignity is affected,
Correct.
right? So there are many ways of resolving this, but I think what's important is to understand, like, even for cast, like if you're specifically looking at casting couch, there can be specific spaces which can be allocated. Like, for instance, if you look at the Tamil film industry, typically it is Chennai which is a working place, right? Or
Yes.
if you look at like Bollywood, it's Bombay. Off late, at least in Kerala, it's become Kochi.
Hmm.
There can be interesting government industry partnerships where we promote film industry specific spaces which are safe, which are posh compliant, which sensitizes people about what most people don't even know what sexual harassment is or what harassment is. There is so much verbal harassment which happens, and people just think it's a, because it's a creative space, you can do anything. And that should not be. Like, I think a professional working space should be empathetic and cognizance of the fact that we are all like working towards the goal of making a great story. So
Yeah.
let's like respect and recognize each person's role. So I feel like the solutions are very, I know I'm not sounding the thing is that most of these solutions are very counterintuitive, and what therefore is important. And of course, the mandate lies not just on the industry but also on the government, especially on legislative aspects.